Hello, everybody. All right, welcome to the Mikestand, everybody. So, I'm gonna, of course, wait to give more people a chance to come in. If you haven't already, if you guys can like and share the stream, see if we can get some more friendly people in here to engage. That would be appreciated. Also, if um, anything here grabs your attention, feel free to comment and/or ask questions, and I'll try to answer the questions to the best of my ability. So, So basically, all right, we look like we have three people in here, so I guess maybe I will just go ahead and talk about well, we keep going back and forth between two and three. So, anyways, hey, Jr. Exner's in the house. The hail Xenu and Xena, our only true saviors. All right, so actually, then, with that being said, I guess I will just go ahead and get started here. So we got a couple articles we're going to go over. One from Bounding into Comics and one from Bleeding Fool. The first one is talking about how DC is going to be relaunching Elseworlds as an imprint. We'll be looking at that, and then the other article is, as I mentioned on last night's show, of course, IDW has retained the license to continue publishing the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle comics, and now it's been announced that Jason Aaron, who is also working for DC on Superman, apparently. Hey, Wayne. It's cold out. Yeah, it is cold out, isn't it? Throughout the country. Again, guys, as I said, if you guys can like and share the stream, see if we can get some more friendly people in here to engage, that'd be appreciated. Also, if anything here grabs your attention, feel free to comment and/or ask questions. I'll try to answer the questions to the best of my ability. So, aside from doing his work with DC on Superman, apparently, and he's also done some work on Batman, he will also be penning, I guess, the stories or doing some work for the IDW's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle title. So, so there we go with that. Also, let's see what more. Of course, we'll have the wrestling wrap up a little later after we get through through the um, the news articles, and then we'll wrap things up with the This Day Needs History segment at the very end. So, with all that being said, why don't we go ahead and get started? Since again we have some people in here engaging, so that's nice to see. Let's go ahead and, as I said, if anything that we talk about tonight grabs your attention, feel free to comment and/or ask questions. I will try to answer the questions to the best of my ability. So, and yeah, and for those of you who don't know, I am aware there's some other stuff going on in regard to like Comicsgate and Ethan and Eric July. Obviously that stuff's going down. We'll probably be talking about it at some point. But with that, why don't we go ahead and get started? Let's get onto this first article here. So, all right. All right, so okay, let me just make sure one last time. Yeah, it's there. Okay. Alrighty then. So DC is relaunching Elseworlds as an imprint in 2024, and you probably didn't notice. Article by J.B. Augustine, published January 17th, which is of course today, 2024. Batman the Barbarian, issue number 1, 2024. Words and art by Greg Smallwood. Let's see. A popular line is being brought back by DC this year, and you probably haven't heard about it. Even if you did, it's not exactly as if there is a lot of fanfare for the return of Elseworlds. The original announcement was made back in October at New York Comic Con, but since then, the coverage has been light for something that should be a monumental event. The only problem is DC comes out with so many monumental events none of them seem special. It's like you kind of oversaturate with monumental events, right? Let's see. What's new today about EJ and EVS versus no, EJ Eric July versus Even Skyver versus Yellow Flash? I'm up for that info. Not really anything overtly new. Supposedly, I guess last night, Ethan and Eric were supposed to have some kind of debate on a Blaze show, Blaze TV show, prime time with Alex Stein, and supposedly, I guess, Eric supposedly backed out of it. Ethan was just going there to just, of course, try to promote his books and all that, or promote what he's doing. And apparently, I guess the producers were going to try to pull something and have Eric come on to go after him or something to that extent. But anyways, I was just. But with that, as I said, we'll talk more about a lot of that stuff, in the days to come here. So with that, let's continue on with this article here. So let's see. Or rather, it would have been ages ago. After 2 decades, in parentheses here, though it sure doesn't feel like it, in parentheses, Elseworlds returns in 2024 for, by all appearances, a sustained run that includes new Batman stories, naturally, a 19th century Justice League, basically in the 1800s or Wild West version of the further adventures of a Green Lantern on another Earth, and vampires, of all things. Sure, why not? All right. All right. So, titles coming with the relaunch of the imprint are Gotham by Gaslight, The Kryptonian Age by Andy Diggle and Leandro Fernandez, Batman the Barbarian by Greg Smallwood, who did Human Target, Dark Knights of Steel, um, Ale Winter by Jay Kristoff and Terso Khans, Green Lantern Dark by Tate Brombal and Werther Deladera, Batman Nightfire by Clay, and Seth Mann, and DC vs. Vampires World War V by Matthew Rosenberg and Otto Schmidt. As you may have guessed, Kryptonian Age and Alewinter are continuations of previous Elseworld tales. The former adds layers to the Victorian Earth of Gotham by Gaslight, such as a Justice League incarnation and the intro of Kryptonians to the fold. Meanwhile, Alewinter takes the work of Tom Taylor and plants Deathstroke in the thick of this frozen North wasteland. Well, we know Tom Taylor will probably put some stuff in there that people don't want to read. That won't be too thrilling, but again, as we know, the Batman titles tend to be pretty popular, anyways. Even unless they just outright junk everything. But anyways, let's see now. So, all right. If it wasn't headed by a lame gay black woman, I'd totally be all over Gotham by Gaslight and 19th century Justice League. Even if they are terrible, I'll get my hands on them. All right. Batman the Barbarian goes the fantasy route to retell the origin of the Dark Knight. How original? In medieval times. Green Lantern Dark does essentially the same thing, except it's not an origin story. Taking place long after the war of good and evil is over, the last hero alive is a gender-flipped lantern who's been missing for years. Quote, out-of-continuity stories have always been a pillar of DC publishing, granting creators the ability to explore all the wild corners of the DC universe, unquote, said DC executive editor Ben Abernathy in a statement. Quote, we're excited to bring a whole new state of titles under the Elseworlds banner in 2024, combining some all-new titles from top storytellers, as well as sequels from the current DC line that fit that same out-of-continuity aesthetic, unquote, he added. Let's see. Before I can be on here, let me. All right. And again, if you haven't already, if you guys can like and share the stream, see if we can get some more friendly people in here to engage. Also, if anything grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions. I'll try to answer the questions to the best of my ability. So, some of the most famous outside continuity stories are Superman Red Sun, Kingdom Come, Frank Miller's work on Batman from The Dark Knight Returns to Year One. Each of these, save for Kingdom Come and others, like All-Star Superman, have turned into animated movies over the years. Elseworlds was also the theme of an Arrowverse crossover not long ago. Couple that with the fact that Dark Knights of Steel came out in 2021, and you're left wondering what sort of comeback this is, when the idea never went away in the first place. As a piece of DC iconography, it has always been around in some form. Moreover, if this relaunch becomes a return to prominence, that will depend on you, the reader, picking up copies of the above books. But will you? Let us know. All right, so there we go with that one. So we do have one other article to go over here. This one from Bleeding Fool. Alrighty then, so kind of an extension of two stories yesterday, because we did look, of course, at some stuff that Jason Arnold, an interview he recently gave on his work with Superman and some of the work there, but also, as we talked about, IDW retaining the publishing license for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So with that, let's go ahead and get into this here. All right, so Jason Aaron, rather. I don't know why I keep saying Arnold, but Jason Aaron writing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles relaunch at IDW. Article by Tom Fisher, published January 17, 2024. So today, basically. IDW 25 years. Eisner Award-winning writer Jason Aaron is taking over as writer of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for IDW Publishing. Comicbook.com reports that Aaron, a former Marvel architect and current writer of Batman and Superman, will helm the upcoming Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles relaunch, beginning with a 10-page prelude story in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Alpha Number 1 one-shot on sale in June. IDW's ongoing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles series will return with a new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 1 in July, written by Aaron and with creative collaborators to be named in the coming weeks. I guess meaning artist, inker, letterer, colorer, all that. The new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles series is notably a relaunch and not a reboot, existing in the same universe as IDW's previously published Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comic books. IDW Publishing, and for those who don't know, I believe IDW stands for International DreamWorks, I believe. So, what I think it means, but anyways, recently announced that it renewed its agreement with Paramount to continue publishing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comics into 2024. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 40th anniversary, IDW Publishing has published Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comics since 2011. Its ongoing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles series will wrap up with the oversized Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 150 as the Turtles' longest-running ongoing series ever. Aaron will take over from Sophie Campbell's 50-issue run on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which followed Tom Waltz's work on the first 100 issues of the series. All with the story input from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles co-creator Kevin Eastman. I know one of our writers here wishes Aaron wouldn't be let near this property. And personally, I hated how Aaron's Thor run ended. But let's see how it turns out. And of course, as we discussed, I believe Avi Green was the one who was quite critical of Jason's work there. So that kind of went kind of quickly then. Let's see. We're not even at the 20-minute mark. So maybe I'll try to. I'm not going to do the Indie Comic Showcase until tomorrow night. But see what else I can find. Let me go back to Bounding into Comics, see if I can find anything over there. Let's see, is there anything more here? Let's see. Nope. All right. Alrighty then. So that's all for the articles then. Yeah. So basically, yeah, as I was talking about earlier, of course, there is, of course, some ongoing stuff going on between Eric July and Ethan Van Sciver. I watched Trashcast 4 and 5 yesterday to kind of, well, I watched 4 last night and then 5 this morning. So kind of got up, and then and then I think even before I came on here, he had another one, along with RJ Carter doing, an interview with Mike Pierce on his latest book. I know Hero Shack. They're talking about it over on Chris's channel. Well, I do have an idea what I want to do. It'll be most likely Sunday. We'll probably really dig into it a little bit. with our panel. So that's what I'm thinking right now. But anyways, yeah. So basically, the latest, at least that I know of, up through this morning, was that supposedly there was a there's a guy at a show on the Blaze TV named Alex Stein, Prime Time with Alex Stein. They were going to have Ethan on. Now, according to Ethan, he was under the impression he was just going to be on to just promote his stuff. Just talk about what he's doing and all that, and promote his books and all that. But then it somehow came about that because I guess as Ethan was taking a nap prior to the show, he got a message or that somebody sent him, "Hey, look at this tweet! Look at this tweet!" And the tweet on X is going, "Debate: Eric July versus Ethan Van Sciver." It's like, okay, and Ethan talked about that, and so now Ethan was all ready to go for it. Ethan was like, "Yeah, I have no problem going. I have no problem. I mean, I wanna talk to him. I want to have this debate, as it were." But since Eric is a writer for the Blaze, since he is a contributor to the Blaze, he was able to somehow, I guess, get the segment just nicked. Like, no, I'm not going. I don't know now based on Ethan's interpretation of it. He believes they were going to try to ambush him. I guess they were going to have Eric just pop on and then we did actually see some stuff from the Alex Stein show, as it were. Ethan played some of it where they were talking about, oh yeah, one of our colleagues at work, and a lot of times it's like Eric and a lot of people will sometimes dance around the situation. Now, granted, a lot of times you do it to protect yourself from try to do it to protect yourself from any legal ramifications, like somebody coming out like how do you claiming defamation or something like that. That's why people won't always. That's why Eric, I think, doesn't always use the name of the people he's talking about. But also it's also like they don't want to give the attention to the person that they're dealing with. It's like from Eric's case, he doesn't want maybe he doesn't want to mention Ethan's name aside from the whole legal protection bit, but also just that he doesn't want to give Ethan the attention. At least Yellow Flash, the other, from what we saw, how he handled it, was kind of more. I mean, I don't know if he truly did what he said, because of course I'm not on X, and I haven't seen anything in regards to this. But Yellow Flash essentially came out and said, I'm not going to even talk about it anymore. I'm not gonna say anything about Ethan. I'm not, if you guys want to be his fans and my fans, that's fine. That was basically the speech he gave Saturday before he had his guest come on, and of course with a very comical end to it, where they just kind of they just missed. They cut the tape, cut the segment off, cut the clip off at just the wrong moment. I'll put it that way. Yeah. So, and again, as I've asked before, if you guys can like and share the screen, see if we can get some more friendly people in here. Also, if anything grabs your attention, feel free to comment and/or ask questions. We'll try to answer the questions to the best of our ability. As it would appear, of course, there's not really much. I had a couple of stories here, and we got through those pretty quick. I went through them a little earlier than I would normally, simply because people in here already. So, kind of waiting around for any super length of time. Let me try one more site here. let's see. I think here. Yeah, I'm trying to. Oh, this may be maybe fruitless, but I'll try it anyways. I'm checking the critical blast site just to see if there is any new, but I kind of knew there probably wasn't going to be anything new on him, more than likely. I mean, some portions of that site haven't been updated in almost 2 years. So let's see. Yeah. Alrighty then. So yeah, we pretty much have run the course of what we're going to cover tonight, at least in terms of the main articles. Kind of went quicker than I had thought they would. But I guess we can try to do kind of a bit of a I do a bit of a free so again, if anybody has anything they'd like to talk about or anything to that effect, feel free to chime in at any given time. Um, you know, let's see. Give it about 3 more minutes here, and then if not, we'll probably get into the wrestling wrap up here. Um, on New Mesa, where the cowboys roam, everyone wanna go by the code of the West. On New Mesa, everyone they know, everyone wanna know by the code of the West. On Moo Mesa, Hong Kong Fooey, number one super guy. Hong Kong Fooey, quicker than the human eye. Chicka chong, chicka wong wong wong. Hong Kong Fooey, that's terrific. Hmm. Hmm. Well, we're just waiting along here. All right, so let's see. 29. Um, let's see. Hello, Megan. What's up, Doc? What's up, Doc? Suffering succotash. I taught a putty cat. I did. La 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 la. La 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 la. All right, we're at the 30-minute mark, so we're gonna start start going ahead and moving things forward a bit here. So we're going to now move on to the wrestling wrap-up. We do have some news, of course, WWE, AEW, and, TNA. In the WWE news, so it was recently announced that Cora Jade had suffered a torn ACL. It looks like she's now going to be out for about a year. And she's an NXT talent, which is bad news for her. She's going to be sitting out a year now. As she recovers from that torn ACL. Of course, about a week and a half here, 10 days from now, WWE will be having its Royal Rumble card, and, they're still putting that all together. So that's what we got for that. Let's see now. All right, so with that, let's see. Let's move on to some AEW news. Of course, the war of words going back and forth between AEW and WWE continues as Hook had decided to respond to a tweet that Jinder Mahal had put out there, like, "Who's Hook?" As some people have criticized Tony Khan for booking Hook versus Samoa Joe tonight for the AEW World Title. Now, Hook is 28-1. He's been the FTW champion for quite some time. I think he's a two-time FTW champion. Of course, the championship his father Taz had brought into this. But it's like a lot of people just feel that Hook is not necessarily a credible challenger for Samoa Joe, due in part to the fact that it's not just a simple size, but there's a mass difference too. It's like Joe's a 6 foot, 300-pound guy, and Hook's like about 5'7", 5'8", and not even 200 pounds. But Hook is proven that he's a bit of a shooter. He can throw guys around with the best of them with any variety of super, much like his dad did. Now, of course, his dad had a little more bulk on him than he does, but Hook has shown that he can stand up to. Doesn't matter the size, It's kind of like that old saying. It doesn't matter the size of the dog in the fight. It matters the size of the fight in the dog, right? And Hook has shown time and again that he has like this whole war of words started when people started criticizing Tony Khan for booking for booking Hook against Samoa Joe, and then Tony kind of snided back about how WWE was booking Jinder Mahal for a world title match on this past Monday's Raw, like giving him a push, even though he hasn't won a match in the last year. Where Hook is 28-1, well 29-1 going into the night after his win on Saturday night. There, basically the idea being that, hey, at least Hook's been winning his matches. Where's Jinder Mahal been? That's kind of the bit of it there. And speaking, of course, of tonight's Dynamite, as we already mentioned, the main event for tonight, of course, Samoa Joe defends the AEW World Title against Hook. In her continued quest to get some respect from Tony Storm, Deonna Purrazzo, recently arrived AEW talent, will be taking on Anna Jay. The Martin brothers, Darius and Dante, Top Flight, will be taking on Private Battle of two young, very, very athletically gifted teens here. The Martin brothers taking on Isaiah Cassidy and Mark Quinn. In a follow-up to their title defense on Collision this past Saturday, the challenge was made and accepted as Prince Nana, leading his Mogul Embassy Ring of Honor World Tag Team six-man tag team champions of Brian Cage and the Gates of Agony, Bishop Khan and Toa Leona, to take on the three current healthy members of Bullet Club Gold of Jay White and the Guns, Austin and Colton Gunn. So let's see. Commander and Pienta El Zero Miedo with Alta Bajantes and Ray Fenix in their corner takes on a duo representing the Chaos faction, AW International Champion Orange Cassidy and Trent Beretta with Chuck Taylor in their corner. Christian Cage with Kill Switch and Nick Wayne in his corner defends the TNT title against Dustin Rhodes. So that's all that's going on tonight. You got 3 title matches, and you got some other incredible matches for the night there. So as AEW keeps building towards the Revolution pay-per-view on March 3rd, which will be Sting's last match. Also, the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson, who came out during Sting and Darby Allin's final segment on Collision the other night, when they were talking about, well, who is Sting going to face in his final match at Revolution. The Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson, just came out, at least giving the suggestion possibly that maybe they will challenge Sting and Darby Allin to a tag match. Or maybe one of them wants to challenge Sting one-on-one, But again, they are set to make an appearance tonight on Dynamite, so we might get some answers from them at that point. And in AEW news, not AEW, but in TNA news, they have now secured some television deals in Africa that will allow them to extend their content reach to Africa, to where people in Africa can now watch their programming, Impact, the pay-per-views, all that. Of course, coming off the successful Hard to Kill, and saying some of the Snake Eyes matches will be featured on tomorrow night's Impact, from the Palms Casino Resort in Las Vegas, Nevada. So we'll get to see something. And again, I don't know why this hasn't happened, but apparently there's, I guess, still no results from the NWA Paranoid, even though I have had it confirmed or have seen that they did have the event. They just, for whatever reason, are not choosing to show it. Not show it, but not choosing to give the results for some reason. They haven't uploaded the results, which is kind of sucky, to say the least. Let's see. Yeah. But NWA is also going through a bit of a transition. They're moving their Power program to the CW app on CW TV. So, and I believe, from what I understand, that's supposed to be starting on February 2nd. Now there has been no confirmation on what if they're still gonna be using the YouTube channel, or or what have you there. So we're just going to be waiting and seeing on that as well. So that's pretty much all that I got for you in terms of the wrestling wrap-up. So I guess it would be a good time to start really start wrapping things up and go over what's, with today being Wednesday, January 17th. 2024. Let's take a look back at this day. Niche history. History! And the first off, we're going to head back 50 years ago today. On this date, 50 years ago today, back in 1974, the 10th issue of Richie Rich Jackpots from Harvey Comics went on sale on this date 50 years ago today. It sold for 20 cents, 32 pages. Had, of course, 4 Richie Rich features, a Little Dot, and a Little Lotta feature. On this date 50 years ago today, Richie Rich Jackpots number 10 premiered on, or not premiered, but went on sale on newsstands on this date back in 1974. So anyways, getting ready to move on to the next piece of each. As we move ahead to 2004, on this date in 2004, Production IG and Manga Entertainment's Dead Leaves movie premiered in Japanese theaters on this date back in 2004. So in 2004, the Japanese animated science fiction film Dead Leaves premiered in Japanese theaters on this date 20 years ago today, back in 2004. So getting ready to move on to the next piece of niche history. We head back to 2014. And on this date in 2014, the late, great Paul Bearer, who served as Undertaker's manager for much of his WWE career, as well as, of course, Kane and Mankind at different points, was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame on this date 10 years ago today, back in 2014. On this date 10 years ago today, Paul Bearer, the late, great Paul Bearer, was inducted in the WWE Hall of Fame. And finally, we have one more piece of niche history to go here. As 2014 is just so nice that we're going to hit it twice. As also on this date 10 years ago today was the United States and Canadian premieres of Endgame Entertainment's The Nut Job, which was an animated film back in 2014. So on this date 10 years ago today, Endgame Entertainment's The Nut Job premiered in movie theaters in the United States and Canada. So with that, I thank everybody for being here tonight. So we'll be back here, of course, tomorrow night. We'll be focusing in on the Indie Comics Showcase from Chris Braley. We'll be looking at some more titles that are coming out soon that you guys might want to check out. Of course, I'll have put the links in the chat and all that. Also, this Friday, Rick Piper will be joining me as my co-host. We'll be looking back to January of 1940, as we'll be looking at books that went on sale from Fiction House. And then we're back here on Sunday for the weekend edition. So with that, I thank everybody for being here. And I hope to see you all tomorrow. Bye.